There is a quiet tragedy unfolding every single day, hidden behind the closed doors of homes, offices, and medical clinics across the world. It is a slow, silent fading away of the masculine spirit. We live in a society that expects men to be unbreakable, to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, and to do so with unwavering strength. But what happens when the engine that drives that strength begins to sputter? What happens when a man wakes up one morning and realizes that the fire he once had, the boundless energy, the sharp drive, the physical vigor, has been replaced by a lingering exhaustion and a deep unspoken frustration? Society tells you to accept it. They tell you to slow down, to step aside, and to gracefully accept the twilight of your vitality. They call it the natural course of life. But as someone who has dedicated his life to the mechanics of the human body, I am here to tell you that this narrative is profoundly flawed. You do not have to quietly surrender your prime. I am Dr. Patrick Miller. For decades, I have practiced as a medical specialist, sitting across from thousands of men, listening to the deeply personal, often painful realities of aging. Day in and day out, my consultation room becomes a sanctuary for confessions that these men would never dare share with their colleagues, their friends, or sometimes even their spouses. I see men in their 50s and 60s, successful, hard-working individuals who sit down heavily in the chair opposite my desk. They avoid eye contact at first. They cross their arms. And then, once they realize there is no judgment in my room, the truth spills out. They tell me about the crushing exhaustion that hits them like a concrete wall at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They talk about the heavy, lingering brain fog that makes them feel like a passenger in their own lives. And almost always, their voices drop to a whisper as they confess their silent frustration with the loss of their morning vigor and their intimate performance. Take Robert, for instance, a 56-year-old architect who sat in my office last month. He looked at me with a sense of defeat that broke my heart. He said, "Doc, I look in the mirror and I know it's me, but I don't feel like me anymore. My mind wants to conquer the world, but my body feels like it's walking underwater. And in the bedroom, the confidence is just gone. My wife says it's okay, but I can see the distance growing between us. I guess this is just what getting old is, right?" Robert's story is not unique. It is the echo of millions of men who have bought into the greatest biological lie of our generation. The idea that feeling half alive after 50 is simply the age arriving. We are conditioned to believe that the fading of our physical and intimate capabilities is an inevitable cliff we must all fall off. So men adapt. They drink a fourth cup of coffee to survive the afternoon. They avoid intimate moments to spare themselves the embarrassment of unpredictable performance. They resign themselves to a life operating on a battery that never charges past 50%. But as a doctor, I must intervene and change this narrative completely. The true cause of this decline is not the mere passage of time. The number of trips you have made around the sun is not what is stealing your manhood. What you are actually experiencing is the silent asphyxiation of your cardiovascular system. To understand this, we have to look inside the incredibly complex network of highways that keeps you alive, your blood vessels. Lining the inside of every single artery and vein in your body is a microscopic single-cell layer called the endothelium. When you are 20 years old, your endothelium is a highly reactive, incredibly efficient factory. Its primary job is to produce a miracle molecule known as nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It is the molecular command that tells your blood vessels to relax, widen, and open up. When your brain signals that you need energy, or when the moment for intimacy arises, your body floods with nitric oxide. Your veins expand, and a rushing river of oxygen, nutrients, and warm, vital blood surges into your muscles, your brain, and your reproductive organs. This is what creates an erection. This is what gives you stamina. This is what makes a young man feel invincible. But here is the biological tragedy. By the time a man reaches 50, his natural production of nitric oxide has plummeted by nearly half. By the time he is 60, it is a mere fraction of what it once was. Without sufficient nitric oxide, your blood vessels become stiff, they narrow. The floodgates remain stubbornly half-closed. Your heart has to work twice as hard to push blood through these restricted pipes. Your muscles are starved of oxygen. Your brain feels sluggish. And the delicate, sponge-like tissues of your anatomy that require a massive, rapid influx of blood to achieve and maintain an erection are left severely deprived. You are not losing your manhood. Your tissues are quite literally suffocating. When I explain this to my patients, I see a glimmer of understanding, but also a sense of panic. They ask for the prescription pad. They want the blue pill, the synthetic stimulants, the quick chemical fixes that force the body to react. But I tell them to hold on. Those chemical interventions only mask the symptom temporarily and often come with a heavy toll on the heart, headaches, and a disturbing dependency. I tell them that nature has already provided a profound, deeply biological solution to reignite the endothelium and restart the nitric oxide factory. And the most powerful natural tool we have for this is surprisingly humble: beetroot juice. When I first mention beetroot to the high-powered executives and rugged tradesmen in my clinic, they usually chuckle. They think of it as a boring salad garnish. But when I break down the clinical science behind this deep red root, the laughing stops. Beetroot is a biological powerhouse, heavily loaded with natural dietary nitrates. It is one of the most concentrated sources of this compound on the planet. But the magic doesn't happen just by swallowing it. The magic happens through a fascinating symbiotic process inside your body. When a man drinks a high-quality, concentrated dose of beetroot juice, the journey of revitalization begins immediately in his mouth. We have highly specialized, beneficial bacteria living on the back of our tongues. As the beetroot juice washes over them, these bacteria act as microscopic alchemists, instantly converting the natural nitrates into nitrites. As these nitrites travel down into the stomach, the gastric enzymes and stomach acids go to work, continuing the chemical cascade. By the time this compound hits your small intestine and enters your bloodstream, it has been transformed into pure, potent nitric oxide. The physiological response is nothing short of spectacular. It is literally like opening the heavy iron floodgates of a massive dam. As the nitric oxide surges through your system, the smooth muscles surrounding your arterial walls receive the signal to release their tension. The stiffness fades, the vessels expand. Suddenly, the restricted pipes become wide-open highways. Fresh, oxygen-rich blood goes rushing into the deepest microcapillaries of your body. I have seen the profound impact of this biological awakening time and time again. I think of Michael, a 61-year-old patient who came to me feeling utterly depleted, struggling with severe intimacy issues that were tearing his marriage apart. I put him on a strict daily protocol of concentrated beetroot extract. 3 weeks later, he walked into my office. His posture was different. He was standing taller. The dark circles under his eyes were gone. He looked at me, smiled, and said, "Doc, it's like someone flipped the power switch back on in my house." He told me that for the first time in nearly a decade, he was waking up with the mechanical, spontaneous morning erections he thought he had lost forever in his 30s. His energy in the afternoon was stable, his workouts were stronger, and his confidence in the bedroom had been entirely restored. This is not magic. This is the predictable, undeniable power of giving the male body exactly what it needs to heal itself. If you want to dive deeper into this, I put together a guide, located in the first link of the description, for anyone interested in learning and discovering how mature men are supporting healthy blood flow and vitality naturally without relying on artificial solutions. The transformation that occurs when a man commits to restoring his blood flow is holistic, It is not just about isolated moments of performance. It is about reclaiming the entirety of your daily life. When you consistently deliver nitric oxide to your system through dietary precursors like beetroot, the brain is one of the first organs to thank you. Your brain consumes a massive amount of your body's oxygen. When the vascular pathways to the brain are widened, the fog lifts. The mental sharpness, the quick wit, and the deep focus that men often feel slipping away in their 50s come rushing back. You begin to feel present again. But to truly master this biological restoration, we must look at how to sustain this effect. Beetroot juice is a magnificent catalyst. It provides a rapid, powerful spike in nitric oxide. However, to keep those arterial highways open around the clock, allowing the body to truly heal and operate like it did decades ago, I teach my patients to pair beetroot with other natural precursors. One of the most critical companions to beetroot is an amino acid called L-Citrulline, found abundantly in the rinds of watermelons. Here is why this combination is the gold standard for male vitality. While beetroot gives you the immediate rush of vasodilation, L-Citrulline acts as the slow-release fuel. When L-Citrulline enters your system, it bypasses the liver and travels directly to your kidneys, where it is slowly and steadily converted into L-Arginine and subsequently into nitric oxide. By combining the rapid action of the beetroot nitrates with the sustained release mechanism of L-Citrulline, you are effectively putting your cardiovascular system on a continuous, youthful loop. Your blood pressure normalizes, the heavy burden on your heart is lifted, and your reproductive tissues receive a constant, healthy supply of oxygenated blood, rebuilding the structural integrity of your erections over time. Listen to the story of David, a 55-year-old former athlete who had resigned himself to a life of fatigue and performance anxiety. He told me, "I felt like an old classic car parked in the garage. Looks fine on the outside, but the engine won't turn over." After implementing a daily routine of these natural blood flow precursors, the change was undeniable. He didn't just regain his intimate performance, he regained his identity. He told me he was out hiking guys 20 years younger than him, lifting heavier and approaching his relationship with a renewed, fiery passion. The profound psychological shift that occurs when a man realizes his body still works, that he is still capable, still potent, and still deeply masculine, is the most beautiful part of my job. I am sharing this with you because I want you to reject the narrative of inevitable decline. I want you to stop making excuses for the fatigue and stop hiding from the realities of your physical performance. Getting older is a privilege, a journey of gathering wisdom and building a legacy. But getting weaker, suffering through your days with half your potential, that is a choice. You do not have to be a victim of your aging endothelium. By understanding the mechanics of your own biology, by recognizing that blood flow is the undisputed king of male vitality, you hold the keys to a complete physical resurgence. You can rebuild the internal infrastructure of your body. You can wake up tomorrow feeling a little sharper, a little stronger, and vastly more confident. Do not let another day go by accepting a fraction of the life you are meant to live. The science is clear. The evidence is in the lives of thousands of men who have walked this path before you, and the power is now entirely in your hands. For the exact steps and the complete protocol, check out the guide in the first link of the description. For anyone interested in learning and discovering how mature men are supporting healthy blood flow and vitality naturally, without relying on artificial solutions. Your journey back to your prime starts with a single decision to take control of your health. If this message resonated with you, if you are ready to reclaim your vitality and understand the true mechanics of your body, I invite you to subscribe to the channel right now. By subscribing, you will join a community of men dedicated to authentic science-backed health, and you won't miss the upcoming videos where we will continue to unlock the natural secrets to a powerful, uncompromised life. Stand tall, take charge of your biology, and I will see you in the next video.